Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen and thank you so much for practicing with me. Today I'm guiding you through Dragon Pose Yin Yoga, and this is a juicy practice that gets quite deeply into our hips, hip flexors, and our quads. So make sure you have some supportive props on hand like a bolster, cushions, or even some pillows, and then we'll get started. Taking your knees a little bit wider than your hips, and you can bring your toes together to touch. Relax through the tops of your thighs and fold from the hip crease forward. Resting your forearms to the ground, and you can stack your palms and let the forehead relax either onto your palms or a folded blanket. Taking a big full breath in through your nose. And exhale softly through parted teeth. You can sway your hips slightly from side to side, feeling into your pelvis, lower back, and then let the hips sink down towards your heels. Lengthening your breath in and out through your nose. Feeling the rib cage widen and expand with breath. And softening the space between your eyebrows, letting your mind empty out for your practice. And as we move through our practice, staying connected to a feeling sensation through your body. Feeling into the muscle, the tissue, and the bone. And yielding to the pull of gravity. Let's extend our palms in front of us and we'll take a breath. We'll float up to all fours. And before we come into dragon pose on the first side, we'll stretch out the backs of the legs. Let's take a breath or two in downward facing dog. Soft bend through your knees and breath along the back line of the body. Let the sits bones widen and the tailbone curl up. And we'll come back to all fours. And we'll start on the left side of the body. Let's step our left foot forward. Walk your back toes back until you're an inch or two in front of the back kneecap. And please use some cushioning or support for your back knee. I have a blanket that I put down, and you can also fold a blanket or slide a pillow underneath your back knee. And then bring your front knee right on top of your ankle and take your hands to either side of the ankle. Draw the left side of the abdomen onto the thigh bone and add any support you need under your palms so that you're not straining in the posture. And once you come into the posture, you can untuck your back toe and let your whole body round and hang. So you're letting the pelvis drop, your spine slightly curve, becoming fully relaxed through the bones of the body. And you'll feel this through your left hip and into the right hip flexor. If you feel anxious or overwhelmed in this posture, definitely bring more blocks and support underneath your palms. And after a few breaths, as you start to feel the pelvis dropping, you can heel toe the left foot over to the edge of your mat. Now take your left hand to the inner leg line. Palms under your shoulders or onto extra support like a bolster or some blocks. You can even work with a stack of books under your palms. And can you relax your jaw? And again, soften the space between the eyebrows. Working with the full length of your exhalation as you let go and release the deeper tensions and stress from the tissues of the hips. If you'd like, you can turn your left toes towards the corner of the mat. So your foot's on an angle, and your knee is still over the ankle. Taking some breaths into the inner leg line. And as you cultivate this steady, full breath, you might be able to come to the blade of the left foot, flexing your foot, keeping a straight ankle, and hugging the left thigh bone into the hip socket, letting the knee wing towards the ground. You don't want to feel any pinching through the tissue of the hip, so just be mindful that this feels okay. If you're feeling a little bit more open, you can always drop down to your forearms. You can even place a prop under the forearms. But again, you don't want to overdo it, so please don't force your way down to your forearms. Staying in your center. Finding a sense of surrender and conscious relaxation through the body. And as you find this relaxed space, you can always come into a twist. You can bring the right forearm across the short line of the mat and twist open to the left. Left palm to your thigh, slide the palm down the thigh. And lift slightly through your heart. If this is too intense, you can lift up from the forearm and just come down to the palm. And if you'd like to bind your top arm, you're reaching the left palm up, bending the elbow, sliding it across the sacrum to the opposite hip, and drawing the shoulder to the sky. Heart broad and open. 3 big breaths. And unwinding back to center. First, we'll come back up to the palms. Bring the spine to a neutral position and then help your knee back over your ankle. Tuck your back toes and shift both hips very slowly back. And you can bring the left leg behind you and we'll take a moment to rest in child's pose. Reconnecting your breath into the upper back and chest, into the upper lobes of the lungs. Stretching your palms in front of you, shifting to all fours. Let's release our leg lines again. You can always stay on all fours and just stretch each leg out behind you or come back into downward dog. And then we'll step forward with the right foot, knee over ankle, walk your back toes back. And again, come a few inches in front of the back kneecap, support your back knee, and start by drawing the right side of the abdomen just slightly over the thigh, so you're getting some compression to the inner organs. And then come into this very passive and relaxed lunge. Noticing if you're struggling in this posture and adding support. And this is a stage that you can stay at for the full duration of the hold. If you'd like to deepen, heel toe your foot over to the edge of the mat and bring the right palm to the inner leg line. Start with your chest lifted. And working with your breath to let go of contraction through the muscle. You can always turn the right toes to the corner of the mat, feeling a little bit deeper into the inner leg line. And if there's a sense of softening and dropping into gravity, try coming to the blade of the foot. Again, be mindful that you're not sickling your ankle. You want to keep a straight ankle, and the knee drops open. Hugging the thigh bone into the hip socket rather than allowing the leg bone to pull out of the hip socket, keeping the pelvis at a neutral position. And again, when you feel a natural sense of deepening, you can always come to your forearms and feeling into whether this is appropriate for your body. You shouldn't feel any pain at all. You might feel some intensity of sensation, but it's not overwhelming. You can access your breath, you can calm your mind. And there's no signals of pain, only a sense of gradual unwinding and release. In every yoga posture, yin yoga posture, we're looking for that point of stillness and surrender. And only moving to your next edge if it feels completely resonant with you, perhaps coming into a twist. Maintaining that still, quiet center, even as you transition. You can always reach your palm up, right palm up, binding the arm, or not. Lifting through the center of your chest. And following your breath. Following your breath as you slowly transition out of the shape. Coming back through center, lifting to your palms, helping the knee back on top of your ankle. Tucking your back toes, slide the knee slightly forward, shift both hips back, draw your leg around behind you, and take a breath or two in child's pose. You can always exhale with open mouth if you're feeling a build of tension. That helps your nervous system to release and let go. You might also feel a sense of heat through the body. If you are feeling some heat, you can open the mouth And exhale the heat. And from here, we're making a slow transition to a standing forward fold to dangle pose. You can shift your hips up. Step your toes to meet your palms. Lengthen your legs, soften your knees, fold forward. If you're feeling any sense of tension in the lower back, just bring some propping under your palms. Let the shoulders hang, your head hang. Open up through your feet so you're feeling the four corners of your feet. And just feel into all that movement of fluid and energy through the leg lines. Starting to bring some movement to that powerful storehouse of energy at the base of the spine. This is the Kundalini, the spiritual fire that cleanses not only the physical body, energetic body, but into the emotional or psychological spaces as well. Perhaps holding opposite elbows, bringing a little bit of pull to the spine, decompressing your spine. Soften your jaw. And feeling the fluids flowing towards the pineal gland of the brain. And allowing perhaps some of that internal heat to stimulate the glands of the brain. Find your still point. Staying connected as you slowly transition into squat pose. Widen your feet. Take your feet wider than your hips. You can turn the toes slightly open. And as you come into squat pose, please use extra support if you need to. You can roll a blanket under your heels if your heels are slightly elevated. You can also bring a block or a bolster under your tailbone. Shifting the weight of the body back towards the heels. If this doesn't feel great for your knees, come down to your sits bones, place the soles of your feet together, and find butterfly pose. And let's take a few breaths here with the heart lifted, palms to heart center. And with the heart lifted, take one more breath and then round your spine and let the head drop forward. You can let your fingers relax to the ground, or you might take your palms and wrap them around your ankle. Keep hugging your thighs and your arm bones slightly towards each other. Find your still point. Bring your palms behind you. Come down to your sits bones. Feet as wide as your hips. Rock your knees slowly from side to side. Come all the way into a twist on one side. Turning your body slightly behind you. Take a big breath. Exhaling over to the other side. Twisting the spine. Coming back through center, extend both legs out in front of you, adding any cushions you need underneath your knees and also underneath the sits bones. Widen the sits bones. Bring props for your forehead. You can always stack a bolster on top of your thighs or bring another block for your forehead or a cushion. And take a breath here and just let the thigh bones relax. Hanging forward when you're ready. And taking your palms lightly to the outer lines of your legs and helping the leg bones stay at a neutral position so the toes don't drop open to the edge of the mat. They stay slightly towards the sky. Connecting to the still point between the eyebrow center. Slowly rolling up. As you come up, pause here. Draw your palms back by your hips. Close your eyes. And in that quiet space, can you feel the pulse of fluids through your body? The pulse of life force energy. And as we move into our final posture, stay connected to that subtle inner pulse, to the rhythm and the language of that pulse. We'll bend our knees, slide your hips forward, take your bolster or your rolled blanket. You can even fold blankets. And we'll come into a gentle supported back bend, bringing the support towards the tailbone. You can extend your legs open or come into butterfly pose, letting the knees drop open, soles of the feet together. And then lower down. Widen across the heart. And feel this beautiful opening through the whole front line of the body. Your head supported. Noticing the breath expanding into the center of your chest. And tuning your inner senses to the pulse, deep pulse of the vital body. And let's become even more relaxed by extending the legs in front of you. Allowing your awareness to expand from your physical body into the subtle, energetic body. Connecting into the Kundalini energy along the spine. Just imagine a river of energy opening up through the center of your body. It's like a river of sunlight, warm, nourishing, and wise. Draw your arms over your head and take a hold of opposite elbows, taking a breath. Stretching your toes out in front of you. And then switch elbows. Relax your arms, bend your knees, place the soles of your feet to the ground, and then roll over onto one side off of your prop. Place one palm on the ground, and we'll come up to a seated position. Placing your feet on the floor, hug your knees to your heart, and let's round the spine for a moment, drawing the head to the knees. Taking a breath, lifting your chest, coming into seated pose. And we'll take our palms face up on our thighs. And let's take our thumb and our first finger together to touch. Closing your eyes. And as you close your eyes, extend along the spine. And feel as though you are rolling your inner gaze up towards the eyebrow center. As though you are looking upwards to the apex of a triangle. Feeling that pulsing sensation at the eyebrow center. Take a breath out through your nose. Inhale fully through the nose, inhaling. And as you come to the top of your breath, hold your breath. Keep your gaze point at the eyebrow center, and then draw the pelvic floor up, Mula Bandha. Energy lock. Exhale, relax, and release with open mouth. Relax the pelvic floor, relax the breath, relax your gaze point. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. I hope you enjoyed this practice today. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And I always love to hear from you in the comments below. Namaste.